Good morning, all you lovely people. I hope you are well and welcome to Crafters TV here on a lovely Saturday morning. Well, I said lovely. It's a bit grey and overcast here, but it's still a lovely morning because we have got a whole day of crafty fun and inspiration here on Crafters TV even all day. Now, if you watched us last weekend, you will know we're now back on our 2-hour show schedule for our weekend shows. So we're going to do our first show is our Play Your Craft Right, which is what you'd expect on a Saturday morning. Then our middle shows are sort of going to be quite educational. So for today, we've got a lovely craft along and my wonderful guest is going to tell you all about that shortly. And then our third show is a Colour Me Happy. And when you see the guest that's with us today, you might get a gist of what sort of show we're going to do. I'm not going to say any more than that, but it's lovely to have you along. So I've given her a bit of a build-up. So let's say good morning to Jan.
Good morning. And now let me think. Oh, it's like a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? I was posting earlier in the week about the colour of my fingers, I must admit. But yes, delighted to be back on both of these, well, all three shows. But just saying to Corrine this morning, it's a while since I've done a craft along and it's one of my favourite shows. So yes, we're actually going to be making this one. I've just popped all the details on. It was on Crafters TV page. I've actually popped it on my Jan Brown CC page as well this morning. So gorgeous little photo frame book, and I've actually done mine on a Mother's Day theme because here in the UK it's only a couple of weeks away. I know it's a slightly different date in the US, so it gives you plenty of time, but can easily be adapted. It is only the sentiment inside that says Mother's Day, so it can easily be adapted. So we're going to make this in the 2 p.m. show, and the focus is on those beautiful nesting frame dies, the 3D folders and frames. So we're going to work with that later. And then yes, at 6 p.m. here in the UK, it is Colour Me Happy. But because they've brought me in, they've put that mixed media slant on it again. So what it's going to be tonight is sort of loosely mixed media, and in conjunction with Colour Me Happy, what I've done is I've got a lot of the products that we've brought to you over the last sort of month, 6 weeks that I know some of you have bought, and it's just continuing to show you different ways to use those. So lots of different colouring mediums, hence the Colour Me Happy, and looking at how we can integrate that with our mixed media stuff and maybe work on things that aren't necessarily just cards. So that's the plan for today. And then, of course, we've got our game this morning. So it's a little bit like deja vu, Corrine. It's like we were together last Sunday. We were together thinking it's Sunday all day today.
No, it's just Saturday today. Although I am here tomorrow with Craig, and I know he's been posting lots about that one too. Now, I just want to we'll say hello to everybody that's joined us in a minute, but I've got a couple of little bits of housekeeping messages to let you know. Now, first off, as Jan said, it's Mother's Day here a fortnight tomorrow. So in lieu of that, we've sort of got our Mother's Day gifty type one to show you. So if you buy a gift voucher, it says, so it's a minimum of £10, dollars or euros, wherever you are. So it's a minimum. So you can buy any amount up to that. Buy a gift voucher for somebody else, and we're going to give you a £5, dollar or euro voucher to use yourself. So if you do spend £10, it's almost like getting 50% back to yourself as a credit or as a voucher. So that's perfect. But it's a one-off offer, one-time use. So if you are thinking that buy as much of the voucher as you want, because you can't come back in and buy a second voucher and get another £5 off as well. So it's one-time use per customer. Now, the other one we've got to do is, in view of the fact that it's all about, it's the month of craft this month, isn't it? It's, craft month, National Craft Month. So what we're saying is we're going to give everybody an extra 5% off in addition to their Club Inspire. So if you are already a platinum member getting 20%, you're today going to get 25% off, and it's going to filter all the way down. So you can see, actually I've got a strap here, there you go, you can see. Bronze members are going to get 10% off, and silver 15, Gold are going to get 20% off as if they were Platinum members, and Platinum members are going to get 25% off. Now, if you are not a member of Club Inspire, today is definitely the day to join, because you will go straight in as a Platinum member. For your first order only, you'll go straight in as a Platinum member and get 25% off your first order. So that's definitely something worth doing. We've also got some 3 for 2s on some of our Classique pens and our re-inkers. We've also got 10% off on quite a lot of our Spectrum Noir products. So I would just say to you, head over to the website, have a look, maybe just put in Spectrum Noir, see what comes out from that. That's in, it's on the front page apparently. There is a little link. So go and have a look on there. So you can do your 3 for 2 or your 10% off, and then you will give you your Club Inspire, and then you're going to get your Inspire level plus an extra 5%. So I just think, you know, absolutely perfect. So many reasons for shopping today. Now, we've got lots of people here today. So as you know, it's myself and Jan here in the studio. In the gallery, we have got our Nicola, and for a treat, we've got Liam. He's going off. He's got a week's holiday. Well, he's not really holiday. It's time off from work, but he's got his other... It's
like a busman's holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of a busman's holiday. He's got his show to do. So he's jumped in to do, he's doing all the directing today. So that's lovely. And I've got Jake, thank you. I went to say Liam again, and I was like, no, that's not Liam. I've just said Liam. It's our Jake. So if you need anything,
going past the window there.
Yeah, you'll hear us shouting for him. So that's who's here in the studio today. It's always quiet at a weekend. It's lovely, really, really quiet. Right, now we have got Rachel on the social. So thank you, Rachel, for all your hard work already. She's already told me we've got Teresa Campbell from Illinois here, Sarah Brown from Melbourne, Australia, Shadiah saying good morning, Christina Clark, Gareth Dobbs says good morning, everyone. Barbara says good morning from Indiana. Ooh, well, come back to that. Sandra's got a question. I'll come back to that one in 1 minute. Barbara McNeil says, hello, Corrine. It's rainy here in New Jersey today. It's not rainy, it's just grey here. Christine Mahoney says, good morning. Snowed in upstate New York. It's a mess out there. Well, do you know what, Christine? Stay inside and do some crafting, or if it's you, you'll probably do some painting. So I love seeing all those. Lynn Price says, good morning, everyone from Norfolk. Christine Mahoney says, no one does better mixed media than you, Jan. There you
bless you. Thank you, Christine.
Lillian Kwok says, morning, Corrine Jan. So good to have the renewed format. It was so, she just felt it was a bit frenetic and short with the varied types. Well, we did a little bit. I can remember last week when I was here with Debbie, and we tried to do play across type. It was a bit of a rush. Anyway, now, I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to answer this, because I don't know if have you seen the corner punches yet?
I only saw them launch yesterday.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the 3-way corner punch, please? If I want to round the 4 corners of a card, how do you do the corners at the fold? Is it not too thick? Oh, I see what you mean. You know, if you fold a card in half,
yeah,
when you open it out, you can do those 2 corners. Those 2 are all right because they're loose.
Yeah, I get what she's saying
here at the
there.
fold.
The only thing, I mean, I haven't used them yet, but just thinking quickly on the hoof, the only thing I could suggest would be look at the depth of your corner. So, for example, if it was a ½ an inch punched the corner,
yeah,
and just snip up the fold with your little snips,
yeah,
so that you've just got the 1 layer free, and then you should be able to tuck the punch in, yeah, around the bit that you've snipped. But to be honest, I would, if I was doing it on a card, I would just do the 2 outside corners. Yeah. If I was putting a topper on it, then that allows you to do all 4 corners.
Yeah. You saying that made an idea come to me. How about making your own card base, having the front of the card just as a square or a rectangle, then you can do all 4 corners, and then use the back on it with a hinge.
Yeah, could do that as well.
So all you would then do is
you snip away the bits of the hinge so that it didn't show behind the corners. Yeah, but there's usually a way. It's just a case of having a little play with some scrap card and see what works.
Yeah, I would have a go. So like Jan said, you can either snip into it so that you can actually get down 1 thickness.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't try putting the double thickness into the corner punch. I think you'd damage the spring in the punch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go. So Sandra, I hope that helped. There is lots of ways. So yes, so we shall do that. Now, what we're going to do first, we're going to jump straight into, we're going to do our first demo. Is that where we're going?
Are we demoing with me or are we looking at product or?
Right, so let's have a look at what we're going to be looking at first. So what we're going to be looking at is our gorgeous folders. So these are our 3D embossing folders and nesting dies. So you're going to get all 4 in your set. So it's 3D nesting folders and you're going to get 20 dies in total. That can't be right. You're getting 4, that's 16 dies. I'm going to go with 16. I'm going to ignore that on the screen. It's 16 because 4 times 4 is 16, not 20.
With 20 dies, yeah, there's 20 pieces, aren't there,
20
including the
pieces.
embossing folder, yeah.
Good thinking, Jan, that must be what it
Yes,
means,
20 pieces, but there's only actually 16 dies. The other 4 elements are the actual embossing folders, aren't they?
There we go. Right, so you've got your diamond, which is absolutely beautiful. So you can see here, you've got different centres on each one. So these are, you can see, feel straight away that they're 3D embossing folders. They feel that much thicker. And then you've got the matching dies that fit on here. Use them as apertures or use them to build up your layers. Then you've got your rectangle. So you've got this one here. And again, look at these. You can see why our Jan was thinking picture frame, can't you? Photo frame. Works beautifully. You've got your oval. But look at the, you see on here, look at how strong that emboss is. It's absolutely beautiful. That always reminds me of Cameo, that shape. You just straight away think
Cameo,
Cameo, don't
wouldn't
you?
it, with a piece of mirror card in it.
Yeah, then you've got your square as well. So these are absolutely beautiful. Now, if you want these all 4 sets, you're going to get those today for £35.96 or $46.62. Now, Nicola, is that platinum price showing with 20% or 25%? Right, so that's your 20% platinum price on there. So if 35, you're going to go down a little bit more. £26.97 in the UK. We're just getting there. $34.97 in the US if you're working in dollars. So our screens are going to be showing 20% all day, so our poor Nicola's going to be working doubly hard. She's going to be trying to get it changed throughout the show so that you can see you're going to get, like we say, platinum price will be with 25%, not 20% off. And again, if it's your first order, you're going to get that platinum price with 25%. So yeah, absolutely perfect deal. You're going to get all 4, you haven't got to pick, and that's going to give you your 3D embossing folders with your nesting dies. Right then, Jan. Now it's your turn.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Okie doke. So I've chosen the opulent oval to start with, and I just want to talk to you about these as a set, whether you buy them individually or whether you buy all 4 of these. I'm going to direct you back to Leanne's launch show, and I'm not sure. Could you guys check for me when that was? It's not that long ago. It was towards the end of last month when she launched these. Because the first thing that sprung to mind when I actually thought about these was, right, well, we've got an embossing folder and then we've got a die to cut an aperture in the middle if we so wish. Now that to me straight away went against everything that we'd ever said about don't emboss and then die cut because you're going to flatten your embossing. So Leanne did a brilliant demo when she launched these, and she did it at the top of the show to explain how to do it, and what her recommendation was to make a template, and I agree with her totally. So this is, I'm not going to demo this because, as I say, you can flick back and check out that other show. We're just trying to find what date it was for you so that we can tell you that. But basically, piece of card cut to size, actually pop it through the embossing. So whether you're using, you know, sort of your MIDI or one of the electronic machines, pop it through and emboss it. And then once you've got it embossed, you're going to use the largest one of the nesting dies and actually nestle that into the, you'll feel it sort of, you know, fit into place here. And then you're going to pass this through with your cutting sandwich and cut it out. And yes, it does flatten the embossing a little bit, but then this one's going to remain a template. So you're going to keep using this one over and over again. And what it does then is allow you, when you come to do this now for real, which we're going to do this morning, I can actually use this as a positioner now to decide where I need to cut my aperture, and it's going to be perfect every time to go back in the embossing folder. So let me talk you through that and do that with you. So what I want to do first is just apply some colour. This is a piece of our multi-purpose cardstock, and I've just picked a couple of my opaque pigment inks. I've got Lemon Tonic and Honey Pot. So what I want to do is just very quickly, and I chose the opaque ones because they're a little bit more, I want to say, pastel in their colour range. The water reactive inks tend to be a bit more bright, a bit more vivid, although that one's looking pretty good, I must admit. And I'm not too worried how this goes down because
you're not blending it there, are you?
I am going to. I just want to get it on there, and I just need a little bit of kitchen paper. My aim today is to try and stay clean. It's like it didn't go very well when I was prepping, especially with the mixed media. But yeah, once I get this down, Liam says I'm allowed to get messy because it's mixed media. But yeah, once I've got this down with the pigment ink, you can blend it back over, and it is lovely. It's really nice to work with. So again, any colour you choose. I picked the lemon because I'm going to be working with some paper from the Delicate Daisies, and the blue and the lemon just goes really nicely together. So that one's a little bit brighter than the one that I did at home, but here we go. So what we're going to do now then, first of all, let's get rid of the mess. And then we're actually going to emboss this one. Well, we're going to cut the aperture and then emboss it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do now is use that template. I'm going to bring in my die. So this is the largest one. If you're wanting a slightly smaller aperture in there, cut the largest one in here, and then you can still position this in place. But I actually want to cut that aperture the same size as the folder. So I'm going to make sure that this is lined up. I just need to grab some low-tack tape, and then what I like to do is nestle. You can draw around here, okay, but that's actually going to give you the cutting line on the die, which is sort of halfway across the width of the metal. There's a little bit of guesswork going on. So what I like to do is nestle this inside. This locks in beautifully where you've actually die cut it. Make sure that my piece of paper is as straight as it can be there, so that I've got it perfectly lined up. And then I'm going to use my pencil to just draw round the inside of that oval. Now that means now when I take all this away, I can line this up perfectly because I can see that pencil line. So rather than trying to guess where that cutting edge is going to line up over the pencil, this way I know that that pencil line is going to go right in the middle there.
And you're cutting it away, so it's not like you're going to get any pencil left on your
so if you do want to use it, you can always rub the pencil line out. But what I tend to do is use this bit to cut one of the smaller sections. So what I'm doing is just making sure I can see that pencil line, and it's worth just taking a minute or two to get this bit right. Okay, there we go. And then stick this to the inside part of your piece here. Okay, so the first job we're going to do is die cut. So I need the whole of my plates there. Okay. Just
so everybody knows, the platinum prices you can see on the screen, hopefully for the rest of the day, now reflect the 25%. So just so that you know, if ever you see a platinum price just down there, it'll be the full 25% discount rather than the 20% discount. So that's good. So you actually know what you're going to be paying.
That looks even better, doesn't it?
It is, isn't it? And then,
so just pass that through with your cutting sandwich, whatever your machine is, and that's going to take out that aperture in the centre. Now I've just noticed I've got so much ink on there that we've got a little bit going on, so if I clean that off, because I don't want to transfer it to anything that I don't want it to. It's probably going to do it in the embossing folder as well, but it's a water-based ink, so it all cleans off.
You could always put a piece of copier paper over the top,
You could, yeah. So now I can position this in my folder. So if you just make sure you've got your raised bit at the bottom, and on this one, it's actually got the Gemini logo on the back of the folder. So what I'm going to do now is sit this inside, and that aperture is going to fit perfectly over the aperture in the embossing folder. So now we're going to get that beautiful embossing 3D without squashing it all the way around with our aperture in the middle. Now obviously if we're embossing a 3D folder, we just need to be aware of those plates. So you need a clear plate, a magnetic shim, and then this time we're going to use the plastic shim for the top rather than the extra clear shim. All right, because the folder's thicker, the plate combination has to be slightly thinner. And then we're going to pass that one through. So it does take 2 passes through the machine, but it's worth doing it. And I'll show you the difference. Even though this one's yellow, you'll still be able to see the difference. Let me put those down there. I will clean this. Again, you can just see it's stained it a little bit, but the water will bring that off. I'll sort that out in a second. But if I show you the one that I've done as a template, so this one's actually been embossed and then die cut, so it's actually flattened it. When you look at the depth of the embossing on this one now, you can see the difference, especially if I show you the backs of them. You can just see, I can see here in the studio that this is much deeper sculpted because this has actually been flattened again.
It'd be such a shame to flatten it after all that hard
It is. I mean,
work,
it depends what look you're after at the end of the day, but it's worth, it takes seconds to do this at the beginning. And I did this for all 4 of mine. When I first got them, I've done it for all 4. I've written the template on it, and then I just kept it in the box with the folder. So you've got it there. You don't have to do it every time you make. So we've got our yellow piece now. So then I'm going to bring in the second one, which is Honey Pot, which is just a wee bit darker. And the first thing I want to do is just edge it so that we've got that little bit of darker colour around the edge. And then I'm going to let it skim over the embossing so that we've got that little bit of deeper colour to highlight the embossing. Now you might want to use some gilding wax on here, which I think I have done. I'm going to do that in the craft along later. But yeah, just letting that, I've got it flat, and I'm just going to let it float sort of over the top of where that embossed area is. And what it does, it just brings out that detail.
You're really not pressing hard there at all,
Not pressing much at all, no. I'm just letting the ink do the work. I'm keeping it flat, and it's just working over that sort of sculpted embossing. And it just brings it out a little bit. It's just subtle, but just brings it out that little bit more so that you've got that beautiful sort of coloured panel there. So, get rid of the ink again. Now I did this at home. So this one's actually a bit more, I don't know whether the ink pads have got juicier or what. They're the same ink pads, but when I bring the one that I did at home, it's actually a fraction lighter. I don't know why. I must have been a bit more heavy-handed. And then all I've done, just at certain points around the design, I've just added some little gems on there, which is why I'm going to flit over to that one. So that's the actual embossing folder part. The rest of it's just going to be popping the card together. So what I wanted to do was make a diorama card. So I've got my pieces at the ready, and this again is the multi-purpose cardstock. And these measure 9.5 by 7.5, all right? Done the scoring in them. And then what I wanted to be able to do was see all the way through this to the back. So I've just matted and layered a piece of that gorgeous delicate daisy paper in there with the blue border. That's going to be my background that we can see in the back. And then this one, I've got matting and layering. So I've got a piece of the blue again. This is from the cardstock from that same collection, and a little bit of the gold round the back. So the first thing I did was actually pop this one on here. Okay, so if you imagine that the blue piece was a full piece, and I've done exactly the same again. I dropped this in, drew round it, and I've actually cut through both of these layers together. Okay, so I went through this cardstock and the gold together with my electronic machine. So these now line up perfectly so that when I pop that on as a matte layer, we've got that aperture going straight through. And then before we did anything with this one, I've done the same with this piece. I've took this as my guide, and I popped it so that I've got a nice even border all the way around the white. And then I've done exactly the same again with the die, draw around the inside of it, and then that's allowed me to pop the metal die. So now, hopefully, I did mark the top just in case there was any different, but you can see now that this aperture is going to sort of go all the way through so that we can see through to the
And if you
back.
wanted an inner frame, you'd just go down a die size, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. We could have actually left this one so that there was some blue showing on the inside by just using, like Corrine said, take the next die down and make this aperture just a wee bit smaller, and that would have given you blue around the outside and also a nice little blue frame around the inside as well. So lots of different ways to play with them. So what I'm going to do now is get those in place. We just need to stick these onto the front. I just wanted to explain how I'd got through, because I wouldn't, even with the Gemini, whereas it would probably be capable of cutting through my matten layer and the 300 GSM card, sometimes what happens is it like nudges the card. So that's why I chose to do it in two separate pieces. So again, I'm just going to line those up, and then I've got that border all the way around the edge, just to give me my centre panel there. And again, you can add some foam to this if you want. I'm actually just going to stick with my, my glue, and I'm going to come back to my all-purpose glue. When we've got something that's embossed like this, I like to use a wet glue on the back, unless I'm sticking onto glitter card or something that has a lot of medium on it, so either ink or whatever, paints, things like that. But the wet glue sort of seeps into those little sculpted areas. And then when we lay this one down, we're going to get a nice bond. And again, you can see that that fits over the aperture, and we've got that lovely border around the outside. So I've just taken a couple of scraps. These were the edge pieces off here, literally. So I've just taken a couple of scraps and matted and layered these, and we're going to pop these on the side of the card, just to finish off that sort of diorama piece.
Colourway is beautiful on
I
this.
love this blue and lemon. I just think, you know, I got very excited yesterday. We were talking about how light it was. I'd been to see my daughter and the boys, and I came back at 5:30, because that's usually when my little Toby has his tea. And it was still daylight. And I was just saying to my husband, I says, it's nice to actually come back round. And I mean, she only lives round the corner, but it was nice to drive back in the, that should have been that side. Can we get that one off? I'm not going to mess with it. I've got an upside down butterfly. Not to worry.
It doesn't matter.
Although that could go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll turn it round.
I did the craft along with Debbie last Saturday, where she did that beautiful card.
Yeah.
And she did it with the Sent with Love. And I went home, and on Monday I used this paper pad, the delightful daisies, and I made the same card again, but with this paper pad.
Yeah,
and that was my mum's Mother's Day card. So that's on its way to France, and let's see if it can get there in less than a month this time.
What I was saying about the daylight was I got very excited because I realised here in the UK at the end of this month we go on to British summertime.
We do.
So we've only got about 3.5 weeks left, I think.
3 weeks tomorrow.
Is it 3 weeks this weekend?
Yeah.
Got very excited. I do prefer the lighter nights, I must admit. The dark nights are very dreary.
26, I believe.
Is it? I know it's usually that last weekend in March, and I was like, we're actually in March. That's not long now, yeah.
The 19th is Mother's Day. The 26th is...
My Steve says, this is my goodness, says, you don't get excited about the strangest things. I says, I know, I said, it doesn't take much to please me. So we're just going to stick those edges together now and make that sort of diorama style. So I've just used my tape pen. You could carry on with your wet glue if you wish. Pop those together, and then the little nest. So this is the 3D embossing folder, okay? And then the nesting dies come into play now. So what I've done is I've taken the next size down and cut that in that blue cardstock, so that same linen blue from the daisy pack. And I've popped some foam pads on that one, and this is going to drop through into the back now. And then I've taken the next one down, and I've just done this in white, and then just embossed it with a little bit of gold embossing powder on there. I think it just finishes it off nicely. And that one's going to drop inside here. So again, we're not going to see a lot of that paper in the back, but I just think it finishes it off when you can see that in the background there. So I'm going to take the pads off there. And then again, you can decide if you want to add any extra embellishments. You might sort of decide that that's as far as you want to go with it. I've just got a couple of little flowers because I was using the daisy collection. I've got a couple of little flowers from that collection to add as embellishment. So I'm going to drop that one in the back there, and then I've got another couple. Because we've got all that depth inside the diorama card, you can really build this one up. That one's going to go in there. And then again, as I say, because I had that collection out, I've just made some of those little daisies.
Oh, they're sweet. They're lovely.
And I just think it just sort of finishes it off. So again, I use my tacky glue. I've not got any 3D. Oh, in fact, I have got some 3D glue gel. I've got some somewhere. She says. There we go. Pop it on with those. It might be a bit easier. So again, just a little bit on the back there. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of the leaf just in that side. Bit on there.
So pretty.
And I just think, you know, with spring on its way, these are gorgeous, you know, just the colours are very spring-like, you know, but imagine doing this in black with some gilding wax, and you could very easily turn that into, you know, a more masculine design. So however you want to do it, I'm going to bring this one up at the top there. Okay, now I just want to get that lid on there so that it doesn't dry. So we'll just pop that on there. And then I'll turn you this one round so that you can have a look there. So the 3D glue gel just takes about 20 minutes or so to cure. If I was going to post it, I would leave it overnight if you've used the glue gel. But you can just see how that aperture creates, you know, it could be acetate behind there and making it into a shaker. It could be a little photo in the centre if you've got photos. My mum always used to send photos out of us to the family when we were little, not now, and just send those. You know, you could pop those in there just as a nice little frame. Absolutely gorgeous.
That is absolutely beautiful. So, so pretty. I do love that. Now, we have a couple of questions before we start on the game. So, Robbie Hedrick says, are the two circles the same? I'm not sure what circles she's on. I was wondering if she meant the dies, but then one's circle, one's oval. So we might need a bit of clarity on that, Robbie. Can you think of...
Two circles the same?
No.
No, I'm not sure on that one, because like you say, one's a circle and one's an oval,
we've got an oval
it?
there. Oh, we haven't even got a circle, have we? It's a square, diamond, a rectangle, an oval. So I'm not sure what two circles... I'm trying to think, what did we talk about?
Yeah, just send us a bit more information,
tell us a bit
and we'll
more,
see
Robbie.
if we can answer that for you, yeah.
Right, and then Shadiah says, I just received these folders yesterday, sitting on my desk to try. Brilliant, Shadiah. Hopefully, Jan's going to give you lots of inspiration. Sandra says, thank you for the suggestion. That was with the corner punches. Yep. Barbara McNeil says, creating a template for positioning the dies on cards that are embossed is a great tip. Janet Boyce says, I love Jan's demonstration. She's a great teacher. Pammy says virtually the same. Jan, it really is amazing. Such a good teacher, so clear, even for new crafters. And Eden says, I love Jan. Her voice is so soothing.
Oh, my husband would disagree with you.
Yeah, don't ask her husband that.
Probably.
Ask if he agrees. Barbara McNeil says, Jan, is it better to use a Gemini cutting machine, i.e. the electronic one with a 3D embossing folder, or a MIDI?
I use either. So the MIDI is more than equipped to take a 3D folder. You don't need anything else with it. So the folder just goes straight through your MIDI as a folder. So you don't need to put the plastic folder from the MIDI or the shim or anything is. So cardstock inside your 3D folder, pop the folder straight through the MIDI. At home, I often use that because that literally sits at the side of my desk. My Gemini is actually behind me, so I have to swivel around and use the big Gemini. So just sometimes straight through the MIDI, it will work with either. Yeah, it's the same pressure, just a different sort of technique, different composure of the machine.
Excellent, brilliant, brilliant. And Alison Lee says, it's great, it's 2 hour shows again today, more of Jan's beautiful creations. And Crafty Angie asks Jan, is that Feel Better stamp in the Daisy collection?
No, it's actually, now then, let me think. I have certain sentiment stamps that I kept out of different collections purely because they were sort of really nice sizes. Now, one of the go-to ones, which I think this is from, was from one of the old, I believe it was a Nature's Garden collection, which was the lilies.
Right.
Long while ago now. I'm probably going back, what, a couple of years? And the sentiments, there's lots of different ones in there. There's about 6 or 8 sentiments, and they're all this kind of size. So I think, just from memory, that it's from that set. But I mean, you can use any of your sentiments, you know, and the fact that you've got 4 different sizes of ovals or squares or, you know, whatever you're using, means that you can size them up. I didn't use, there is a smaller one than this that goes with this sort of layering set, but the sentiment didn't fit on the little one, so I just stopped at that second size there. Perfect, perfect. I hope that's sorted for you, Angie. So yeah, brilliant. Right, now let's have a go at the first round of Play or Craft Right. Our Nicola, who's here, has made this today, and she's promised us that it shouldn't be too difficult. So I believe it's all about identifying collections. So, and hopefully there'll be collections from in the past year or so. So they're not going to be too obscure. Now, am I Facebook, Nicola? Right, I'm going to write that down on here because I always forget. I'm Facebook. Jan is YouTube. So that means that we play, they score off our answers, but you have a go, you can put your answers in. Now, if you comment during the show and play along with the game, then at the end, our Rachel, she will pick 5 winners from either YouTube or Facebook, depending on whether Jan or I win. Or if it's a tie, like Debbie and I last week, we did 3 from each. Can't be fairer than that, can we? So hopefully there'll be a winner, but not by much. It won't be a landslide. Hopefully it'll just be nudge out. Just nudge. My brain's behaving very strangely at the minute, and I just blame it totally on my age. I messaged our Brent the other day asking him to send me a link for the meeting, and he sent me a message back saying, "What meeting?" And I was like, that explains. This is really funny actually, because I actually missed our meeting on the 1st of February. And that surely explains why, because it was in my diary as the 1st of March. He said, there isn't a meeting today. I said, just ignore me. I'm having another senior moment. We'll forgive you. We'll forgive you. OK, then, Nicola, can we see the first one, please? What is this collection from? Oh, it was from the... I'm not sure. It's a guess. I could find it in my drawer. I know exactly where it is. I don't think mine's right. I'm not sure. Have you got an answer? You happy? You're happy to share? No. What did I have the other day? That's not the right answer. Okay. Oh, I can't remember what they were called. I had them here the other day. Oh no! Liam's tough. Liam's tough. He's giving me 20 what were they seconds. Called? Oh, I can't remember what the name was. This is not right, but yeah, go on. Right, I'm not sure. I've gone affirmation stamps. I don't think that's the right word. Yeah, I've just written the word kindness. At first I thought it was the chalkboard set, but no, I had these. This is in the same set as the Dream More, Work Harder one, which we were having a laugh and joke about. And I had them here with Craig about 3-4 weeks ago. And I can't remember. Is that the right one, Liam? Oh, they launched 3 or 4 weeks ago, that's why. Mindfulness, that's quote. There you go, you're so close, Jan, with kindness. Oh, I knew it was something along that sort of calming down. Yes, oh dear. Candy, just so you know, the extra 5% is off all weekend, I believe, is it not? There you go, she's just asked a midnight Sunday, midnight wherever you are, so just saw that question come through. Right, not doing very well yet. We've not got any scores on the doors. So, next one. Oh, this is tougher than you think, isn't it? This is harder than it. Nicola's going, I'm so sorry. I don't think it is, but I'm going to go. Mine's a guess. Mine's a guess. No, I've not got it right. I've not got it right. I've got Delightful Daisies. Yes, so did I, just because of the nature of the flower. Oh, you see, we've both gone that. Hey! Oh, Delightful Daisies, there we go, 1-1. Cool. It's embarrassing when you don't get any
I don't think
points.
they know the pressure that puts us under for this.
I know.
Right. Number 3.
Yep.
Go on then, go for it, Liam. Oh, yes.
Oh.
We know that one. Did you, Liam? Liam got it wrong. This is my favourite item in this whole collection.
Yep.
There we go. I'm being pretty bold out there.
Now, have they tricked us? They said a recent collection, because there is one of these in another collection, but I'm sticking...
I think
Yeah.
Roaring 20s.
Yes, so do I. Yeah.
There you go. Jan's gone Roaring 20s.
Yeah, there was one very similar to it in the Peacock collection, but that was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
It was slightly different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, 2-2. 2-2. Oh, yes.
Oh, flipping heck, again. What's the collection called?
We've got a new theme tune, and it's called What is the Collection? And they're singing it in our ears. Don't give it to Ben, because he'll
when you've
make a
not
song out
worked
of
with it, it's hard to remember all the names, isn't it? Do you know, I can picture Leanne doing it, and I can picture Craig doing it.
If I've got it right, I only know because I was doing a search in one of our design team Facebook pages for something else, and this kept coming up. If I've got it right.
No, it's eluding me, that one. I can't think what it is.
Not
the name of it. As I say, I remember Leanne working with them, and I remember Craig working with them. But...
So you're not going to come up with
No,
anything
I can't think.
I said confetti borders.
Yes, that's the one.
There you
Well
go.
done,
And that's
Corrine.
only because this week I was searching for something for confetti, for the confetti pop-up boxes.
Oh.
And every time I searched for confetti pop-up boxes, this kept coming back up. There you go.
Right.
Last one of this.
That has thrown me.
And there was silence.
That has thrown me, that one. Feathers.
In the last year.
Feathers.
Ooh.
It's definitely an embossing folder.
Yes. This year?
So it's new.
What collections have we had this year? What collections have we had this year? Too far out of the box.
I can't even remember what that was called.
What? Well, it's not going to be Say It With Flowers. It's... Oh, apparently, I've got nothing. Rachel's been very good and she's not put any through. And apparently only 1 or 2 have got it on social.
Mine's a guess.
Just a minute, I'm still... Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm going to go, but I don't think it is.
No, I don't think mine's right.
Right, I'm going to... Have you got an answer?
I have, yeah, but I don't think it's
I'm saying
right.
textured embossing folders. But I don't think it is.
See, I think there was a subtle hint in Nicola's clue there where she said, "Not do you think you're too far outside the box." I can't remember the name of it. We've just
Sent with Love.
Sent with Love, haven't we? The box, or was it the Alice Through the Looking Glass? It was neither.
I got it!
Oh, well done. Oh, totally left me behind.
Can I just ask, did we launch this one in the UK or was this a HSN exclusive? Because
Yes, I'm going to say, I don't think I've got that one in my collection.
Folders, and I've not got one of these.
Yeah.
I don't think this one launched in the UK. I'm just going there.
I don't recall that, and I've got that set.
I still got it right because it's the only thing I could think of. It's the only thing I could think of, but there you go. Right, I've no idea what the score is. Absolutely.
Left me well behind.
Right, 4-2. Okay, but don't worry about it, Jan.
That's going to be hard to catch up, isn't it?
How did you do? Did you get any of those? Did you get lots of those? Now, we are going to... So, is this all about Club Inspire next? Right, so we're going to do how to get social now. So we love you to join in. We love you to join in during the week, but it's even more important during the weekend because, as we said, this is your opportunity to win a £10, $10 voucher with us if you get social with us. So let's have a little video all about how to get social.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action.
Our craft experts come from all over the UK to HQ up in the northeast, and here they are telling you a little bit about where they're from and what it's famous for.
So I'm from a beautiful town called Carnoustie. So many people may recognise the town as a golfing town, famous golfing town. We get lots of big golfing events. I can't say that I'm a golfer myself, but we do get a lot of the celebs, golfers, musicians, actors, all of these turning up at the town. For those that aren't into golfing, what I would tend to say is it's sandwiched in between Arbroath and Dundee, so we are quite far up. I love my town. I love where I am now. However, I will say one of the main things that I miss about my hometown, apart from my family and friends, of course, have to say that, otherwise they're going to watch this and be like, where's our mention? It is, of course, the beach. You know, we're right on the River Tay. We've got the gorgeous beach, the sand and the sea. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the one thing that I always make a beeline for as soon as I arrive back home for a little visit.
I was brought up in Colnbrick, which is a little village near Slough, so it's not very exciting, but we do have the third oldest pub in the whole of the UK there, and it's where the Cox's Pippin apple was first invented or first discovered. But I moved to Chiswick in West London about 25 years ago, and I've lived there ever since, and I love it. It's full of, I wouldn't necessarily say celebrities, but TV stars, so it's quite good for celebrity spotting when you're having a cocktail on the high road.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome back. Now, that looked all very exciting on that little VT with our Sarah, but don't forget, for the whole of this weekend, whatever level you are on with our Club Inspire, we'll give you an extra 5%. And our Nicola has done some very clever little bits, and all the platinum prices, when you see them on this side, will now show the 25% discount. So just so that you know, bronze members, oops, let's go that way. Bronze members are going to get 10%, silver members are going to get 15%, gold members are going to get 20%, and platinum members are going to get 25% off all orders just for this weekend. Right, so Robin says, well, I got 4 out of 5. Marta says 5 out of 5.
Excellent, well done, guys.
Laurie says, well, that didn't go so well for me this morning. So far, I think I've got 1 out of 5. It's not about the score, Laurie, it's all about joining in. And Rita said, what's the name of the game today? It was Guess the Collection, I suppose. Guess the Collection. That's what they're saying. That's what they're singing in my ear. Right, now, we're going to do a completely different, well, we say we, Royal We, Jan, is going to do a completely different demo. So as you know, we all love seeing Jan's take on mixed media. And today she's going to be having quite a few little goes with our re-inkers. Now, our re-inkers were devised for filling up the pens, but as you know, we don't want a crafted product that is a one-trick pony and can only do one thing. We want to be able to do lots of others. Now, we don't have any bundles for you, but if you go to our website, you can find 3 for 2 on, it says on the strap that's going to come up because of the National Craft Month, on Spectrum Noir single pens. So you can see on there, it says 3 for 2 on Noir single pens. But it's also the re-inkers as well. So whatever Jan's doing today, you think, okay, I don't fancy, are you doing yellow for the first one?
I've got yellow and green
yellow
today.
And green.
Yeah.
Perhaps you don't fancy yellow and green and you want to go pink and blue.
Absolutely.
Or you want to go orange and purple.
Yep.
Whichever you want to do, 3 for 2 on all of the Spectrum Noir re-inkers. And don't forget, you're going to get that extra 5% off being with your platinum, with your Club Inspire membership. So over to you, Jan. Can you show us what you're going to do with these?
Right, I can, yes. So we've done a couple of demos with these in previous shows. And like I said, the mixed media aspect today is about how to use these products in with your sort of either paper crafting or scrapbooking, things like that. So I know a lot of you may have bought into these on previous occasions when we've had them on the show, and not just me demoing them. I know some of the team have demoed them as well. So a couple of things I wanted to say before we get cracking with the demo. So Corrine's just said that these are devised. Initially, the concept behind these were to fill our classic marker pens, which is the original range with the black barrel, the alcohol markers. And the codes on the front match up to the code on the pen. So, for example, the JG2 is the Jade Green 2. I would only recommend using that ink in that pen. So don't be tempted to try this in a JG3. You will alter the makeup of the colour that's in the pen. Same for this one. LY2 is light yellow, I think it is, on the number 2. So they are specific to a pen. Now, I very rarely use them for that. I like to do other techniques with them. Now, the first time I did this, I showed you an all-over background. And then the last time I was here with them, we did that beautiful flower, which not only won the Project of the Week, but you guys voted Project of the Month for me last month. So absolutely loved that. So I was like, right, what else can we do? Now, a couple of people last time I was here asked whether we could cut the UPO paper. So I'm going to do something with that this morning. Now, I do apologise again because this is still not back in stock. I did check the website, but I know some of you will have already got it. Okay, if you don't have it, you can use a good quality glossy photo paper. So this is actually liquid media paper. It's not made in the same way. It's more like a thin plastic than it is a paper, but you can get away with a really good quality glossy photo paper as long as it's got that glossy surface. We need the ink to move around, so it doesn't want to be something that's porous. It will just soak straight through. So the paper, if you're interested in stocking up on this, if you pop your email address in on the product on the website, we will let you know when it comes back in stock. So I'm down onto my last piece, I think, in this particular packet. So I'm using it sparingly, and I only need a small piece. So just for starters, I'm just going to chop this in half because I'm trying to make mine sort of last a little bit now. So I'm just going to pop this down to a size that I can work with. I've already got one. Oops. Didn't like that bit there, did it at all? For some reason. There we go. So I'm just going to work on half of it, as I say, in an attempt to try and save what bit I've got left. So, second thing I want to talk about is the alcohol itself. So I use these in conjunction with the neat alcohol. Now, I'm not talking about alcohol that we drink. Please, please don't try this, okay? It is for crafting purposes. It's called isopropyl alcohol. If any of you are interested, it's just, if you just type that into the internet, it will come up. And this is a massive litre bottle. So if you want to take a screenshot of it there, you can see what it is. Now again, you can see the warning signs on it, and I always say this before I start working with it, because if you're working in a small craft space, so if you're in a bedroom or something like that that's only a small area, you do need to make sure that it's well ventilated. We've got our massive studio here. Because it's weekend, we can have the door open. I've got my window behind me. So again, make sure that you are well ventilated before you start using it. And all I'm actually going to do is take my pipette, and I am just literally going to take a pipette out of it. That's all I want to do, and then pop the lid back on, because it will start to evaporate if you leave it out for very long. So that's all I need out of there. And then today, we're actually going to use some of our blending tools to apply this. So I've got green and yellow. I'm just going to show you the yellow because I've got a little bit of green left from when I was doing it at home. So I'm going to take that yellow one. I've kept these in a little plastic bag because they've actually got some of that alcohol, that clear alcohol on here. So just by popping them in there, it shouldn't have made them dry up too much, but I am going to pop a little bit more in. So straight onto the top of that yellow, I'm just going to pop
the alcohol onto the blender, not onto the paper?
Onto the blender this time, yeah. Oh. And then I'm also going to add, if you squeeze the little pipette in the top, this one comes with it ready there, and I'm just going to squeeze some of the ink onto there as well. So I've actually created myself like a blending tool with the ink on it, okay? So this is alcohol, remember. Now, if you did this with just the alcohol ink out of here, it wouldn't blend very far at all. It doesn't move. Alcohol ink doesn't move, which is why it's no good for doing those lovely blended backgrounds. By adding the neat alcohol to it, it gives it a carrier. And what we're going to do is literally pop this all over. So again, you can cover the whole piece, and it does dry quite quickly because once the alcohol's evaporated out of it, it just leaves you with the colour. So again, if you want to leave it to dry and add a second layer, you'll get a little bit stronger colour. But remember, this is just a light yellow ink, so it doesn't need to be too sort of bright.
I can imagine doing that multi-colours.
Yep, you can use different colours by all means. All I would say is have a separate one, a separate sponge for each colour, otherwise you'll end up with mud when they start getting contaminated. So I've literally just popped it in there to try and sort of reserve a little bit of the alcohol that's in there, otherwise they will just literally dry up. The alcohol does evaporate when it gets into the air. Didn't even need the other part of that, so I'm going to pop that back into the bottle. And then what I want to do with this is just, it does dry quite quickly. I'm just going to get rid of the excess that's on my mat there so that we're not picking any up. And it does actually dry because the alcohol is quite warm in here. You can just see that that's still got a little bit of a shimmer to it. Now it probably takes about 5 minutes or so, but because we're on air, I'm just going to use my heat tool. Now, bearing in mind that this is made from a plastic product, you don't want the heat tool on it too long, but I can actually see it there. I can see it in the light that sort of wetness has gone from the top of it. So you do want to make sure it's dry before you do anything else with it. But I can see now we've still got that nice sheen to it, but it's not actually wet any longer. Okay, so then what we're going to do is you can take your chosen dyes, whatever you want to work with. And I actually took a set of the flowers from our Say It With Flowers collection, and I've got the chrysanthemum. It can be absolutely any flower dye that you have. And then I'm just going to create, let's have a look, and I'll put I've got a little scrap of the green. I've done exactly the same on another piece, and I've already die cut some of these, so this was just a piece that was left. So all I'm going to do now is chop that one in half because we don't need the whole thing. And I'm going to pop that one on here and this one on here. And then I'm going to bring in, I'm not even going to use the electronic machine. I've got my little mini here. And we're literally going to pop these inside. And one of the questions I got asked about this last time I was here was just the Yupo paper die cut. Okay? And the answer is absolutely. Okay? So that was just through the mini. You can imagine, you know, loading up your plate and doing that through your electronic machines. You can cut multiples of these at a time. So we'll cut the little leaf as well. As I say, I did exactly the same with that jade green ink as what I've just done with a separate sponge applicator, but it die cuts absolutely beautifully. And you can see here now, let me get rid of all the bits and pieces. You can just see here now that you've got the means of making those gorgeous little embellishments. So what I've done is I've actually cut several of the flowers off here because these are meant to layer, and I've actually layered them together to make myself a couple of little flowers. So I've got 2 or 3 different layers just with some pearls in the centre. And then all I've done is just out of a piece of mount board, I've just cut one of my heart dies, piece of paper out of my scrap box. I think, if I remember rightly, it's possibly from the summer gnome paper pad, but I'm guessing because it's been there a while. As I say, I've just been through the scrap box. And again, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that glue, and we're just going to pop these. Okay, and then I've cut I've added a little bit of ink as well. It actually takes the ink. You can just see the leaves here. If I show you that one compared to the one that we've just cut, I've actually been around the edge of it with a little bit of our water reactive ink as well. So just touching the edge of the Yupo paper, I thought, now then, is it just going to wipe off? But it's still there, yeah? So I'm going to pop a couple of these up at the top, like so. I'll put that on there. And then we're going to have the flowers. And again, this is just like it could be a little topper. You could make it into a hanging decoration. You know, it could go as an embellishment on something. So I'm just like literally going to make the topper with it today. And again, using that 3D gel, pop 2 of those on there. I'm going to put another one of those just underneath this edge here.
Does make a difference putting the foliage on, doesn't it?
It does. I like making these sort of little embellishments, and then you know you can just keep them in a drawer until you want to use them. So we're just going to have those on like that, and then I've got a little tiny sentiment out of my stash, which again I'm just going to pop the lid on that one. So again, I'm just going to pop that one straight onto. And it says Dreamer of Dreams on there, which is really nice. And then I just felt it needed a little something. And what do you do when it needs a little something? We get a little butterfly.
There we go.
So again, little tiny butterfly die. Again, this one stays in the box on my desk. It's just a nice little tiny size. Okay, and you can see there, you know, and no one would think that these have been made out of something that imitates paper. But it's actually a plastic base. As I say, it's referred to as liquid media paper, and it's actually a plastic base rather than a paper base. But again, if I just hold you that one up, the glue gel just takes a little while to cure. But again, as I say, this could be the centre of a card. It could be, if you put some ribbon behind it, it could be a little hanging embellishment, something like that. But I just wanted to show you today that yes, if you do have the Yupo paper, it does cut. You can see how that's cut really cleanly. There's no
feathered
snagging.
edges at all, is there?
No snagging on that piece it's cut out of at all. It's cut all the way around, and that was just using the mini.
Brilliant.
So yes.
Brilliant. Right, Nicola's just run in and she's given me a whole basket of finished samples. Now look at that. Now, as you used Yupo, this has been done onto watercolour card. So you can still use the re-inkers to get some fantastic backgrounds on watercolour card. Right. So, you know, we've done it on there. So instead of trying to drag it, it's almost like you've done just more of a blotting. Right.
I would say it would soak into your watercolour card more.
It seems... It's definitely what it's done. You can feel it on there, but yeah, it's lovely. And then again, we've used the re-inkers to blend and to stamp with, and again on here. Now, this again is using the Yupo. What it looks like they've done is they've used masking tape and then done a bit of that marbling effect that you did the other week, Jan, but then removed the masking tape to give that lovely effect.
I'm with you, yeah.
Stamped using the re-inkers onto the Yupo. So you can apply that. Then we've created a lovely background, and again, that's onto watercolour card, so you can do on there. I love this one. almost given that watercolour effect by using, I think that must be a stamp on there. And again, look at that, almost a resist into that Yupo. Now, this is why I've been given this basket, Jan. There is a card here. I'm putting you on your spot here. This is a special request from our Nicola. Don't know if you can see, Jan. Can you see that? Do I need to bring it over to you? Nicola says, how do we do that?
Right, that's got a gold in there as well,
Yes.
which we don't do. So I would hazard a guess that that's been added. I've got gold in my collection at home, but it's not a Crafters Companion brand. So basically, this is actually something that I could probably do on another demo, on another day. When we did the backgrounds, which is going back a couple of shows, dropping the ink droplets onto the Yupo paper, if you drop the neat alcohol into that colour, it pushes it about.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you add the gold in there, it behaves, because it's metallic, it behaves differently and it finds the outside. So you'll find that that gold is almost outlining areas of colour because the gold, the neat alcohol pushes it out. And it spreads, and it sort of almost makes like an edge around the coloured areas. Very clever how it behaves. As I say, I think it must be something to do with the metallic properties of that alcohol ink.
So it's like a re-inker, but in metallic gold?
The metallic, alcohol inks, which mine are by Ranger. You know that my alternative products are nearly all Ranger. And there's lots of different, you get the golds, the silver, the bronze, all the different metallic. There's a pearl one.
And you do
and they will work nicely with these as a coloured alcohol ink. But we don't do, obviously because we don't do the alcohol pens in a metallic range, we don't stock the re-inkers in the metallic.
And you do that while so in this case the purple, you did it while the purple's wet?
I could reactivate that now.
Oh, could you?
I could actually, if I put more of the neat alcohol on, it would start and work onto that that's already there. So yeah, you can keep going back to it. You can layer it up. You can keep going. If you really don't like what you've done, you can saturate it with the alcohol ink and just rub most of it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
interesting
if
to
you're
know.
using the plastic, the Yupo paper, wouldn't work on an ordinary paper. I've never actually tried using alcohol on a porous card, so that's something I'm going to go away and have a play with, because obviously porous card will soak up the alcohol inks. In my head, they don't blend.
No, I don't think they've really blended them. If I look at this one here, coming back to this one, when I look at it, they've almost
dabbed it on with the applicator.
Yeah, it looks to me like the applicator. Ooh, there we go. You can hopefully you can see it's been dabbed on. It's not been blended at all. But that then gives you a lovely effect because you've got the yellow and the green, and they're not merging and
just have a play
together, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I think that's how that's been done. So that looks to me. So yes, absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Jan.
That's
and we've got we've got a couple of questions for you. Lean says, love seeing Jan do mixed media, always get good tips from these shows. Now, Annie on YouTube says, please can you ask Jan if this would work with the aqua tints?
The aqua tints are water-based.
Yes.
So on the Yupo paper, they would just literally sit on the top. They wouldn't
dry.
go anywhere. They wouldn't dry. Well, they probably would dry eventually, but essentially you would just have a drop of wet colour on the top of the paper.
Right.
The aqua tints would work better with watercolour card.
Yeah.
And yes, you could use an applicator to apply that tint to get the idea. And of course you can die cut watercolour card. So yes, you could still make all your flowers and everything using the aqua tint ink in the same manner. Obviously you wouldn't need the alcohol, the neat alcohol, to use it as a medium to move the ink, because the water-based ink would move on its own with just a little bit of water added.
Brilliant. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Another question. Kimberly on Facebook says, when should we use a round blending tool versus a square blending tool?
Absolutely personal preference. They both do exactly the same job. I tend to prefer the round ones, and I noticed when I was watching Leanne the other day, when she was actually launching the folders that we're using later, she was using the rectangular ones and she used them perfectly. My personal preference is the round ones. I do have some rectangular ones, but I tend to go for the round ones. But I would say try them both. If you order the actual set with the handles in, you'll get a couple of the foam pads with them. Try both and see which you get on best with. They both do the same job.
I always go for round ones.
Yeah.
If I see Lily working, I usually see her on the rectangular ones, and I think it's Craig I also see with the rectangular ones. It is pure personal preference.
Pure preference.
It's absolutely, there is no right or no wrong way. No, absolutely. Now, you can relate to this one. Nikki Gilnell says, it always appears that I end up with more ink on my fingers than the paper.
Oh.
Jan was telling us that in the week, were you blue?
I actually put it on my Facebook stories, so it only lasted for the day, but literally my fingers were as blue. I'll see if I can find you the photo. Give me a second and I'll find the photo to show you.
Okay, perfect.
And you'll see what I mean. Just give me a second because it's on... I don't like using my phone on air, but I did
I'll read some more comments out there.
Still have the photo and I'll show you what I mean.
Hayley says, isn't Jan just mesmerising to watch? She explains everything so perfectly and comes up with some fantastic, unique ideas of how to use our products. That's lovely of you to say.
There we go. Look, we'll let our Liam have a look. This was me while I was prepping the other day. Can you see the colour there?
You were half Smurf.
And the other hand was just the same. And I literally had to go and scrub my fingers before I came here today. This was 2 days ago. And I always think if you're not this colour at the end of the day, you've not had a good craft day.
No.
That's my argument and I'm sticking to it.
Perfect. Sarah Brown says, Jan, thank you for all you do to give us craft peeps inspiration. We so appreciate it. There we go. Anne says, lovely Jan, I'm really wanting the re-inkers now. Well, they're 3 for 2 today, Anne, so go pop across to the website. Rachel asks, could you cheat and dot on ink from the gold metallic pen once dry? Ooh, I suppose you could. It wouldn't necessarily look as natural, would it?
It's the movement that gives you that veining in the alcohol. As I say, it behaves in a very strange fashion. Until you've actually worked with it, it's hard to describe. If we have the re-inkers on again, I will bring my gold one with me and I'll show you what I mean by it. But it does behave very, very strangely. As I say, it's sort of almost as if it moves out of the way. Now, if you were using a metallic pen, you could go in with a very fine paintbrush once it was dry and sort of try and get the outline, which would give you a similar effect. It probably just wouldn't be quite as, what's the word? Liam say marbled.
Authentic?
Yeah, it would give you a slightly different finish. A lot of it depends on how thick you put it on and how steady your hand is. So, but it's worth having a go. Anything like this, have a try. You know, I'm a great believer. I call it playing. I don't consider it to be work, but I spend a lot of time just trying things out like this to see whether it works properly. And if it doesn't, at the end of the day, it's pennies for a little bit of ink and a bit of paper that you've wasted. And you've got an answer there and then. So don't ever be afraid to have a go. And just, you know, if you think something might work, if you've got something in your stash that's similar to what we've done, try it and see if it works. If it does, let us know. It might be something that we're not aware of. I don't profess to know everything.
Perfect. Hayley says you could create the marble effects with the inks and add gilding flakes for the gold. Yeah, that would be another way to do it.
You could use one of the little fine glue pens.
Exactly.
And just draw the line round and then dab a little bit of the gilding flakes in. That would look nice.
Lovely comment from Robbie saying, Jan and Corrine are my favourite. So glad to watch you both together.
Oh,
well, that is lovely. Thank you. Now, we're going to do round 2 of the game, because then that will give us time for Jan to do us one more demo with those lovely embossing folders. Have you got your board, Jan?
I have. Do you know, I'm stood over here in complete mystery because one of my dies has just gone walkabout and I can't for the life of me.
I've got
my little leaf die that I've just cut out. My metal piece has just vanished into thin air.
We'll find it for you afterwards.
It evaporated.
We'll find it. Right.
So yeah, it's around here somewhere. But yes, I'm good. I've got my board at the ready. I've got my pen at the ready. I can't guarantee
your brain at the ready.
We'll try.
We'll try.
We'll try. I've got a long way to catch up now, haven't I?
No. Right, come on then, Nicola or Liam. Where are we at now?
Oh, I know what they are, but trying to remember what they're called. Oh, I don't know whether this is right or not.
Ooh, that first word. Oh, yes. I said, oh, that first word, and Liam went, I can help you with the second one, it's die. Well, no, it's the fourth word for me.
Fourth. Oh, I might not be on the right line. I've
No,
got
I
two
don't think
words.
I am. I said the intricate or fancy nesting dies.
I put the heritage dies.
Jan's right, she's got to be right.
It was that twist.
Heritage dies.
I remember, I think it was Debbie Robinson that launched them either here or at our TV partners at Hobbymaker, and I remember doing the twist on the top layer.
I've not
That's
got
what
those.
gave that one away.
I've not got those. Rachel says, socials are getting it. Well done, you. My iPad won't stand up. I don't know what I've done. I don't know what I've done. I can't get it to stand up for the life of me. Never mind. I'll stand it there then, hopefully, if it doesn't knock everything over. No, it's going to knock everything over. Oh, nice try. Let's do it on my water bottle. There we go. Then I can see. Right. Oh, and Beth says I just ordered those, so she knew what they were.
Right.
There we are. Number 2.
Oh.
Oh, Nicola, you told me it was easy. This is evil. No, I haven't got a clue. It's an edge ball. You don't say, Nicola. Thank you. And Liam says it's a die. Oops.
That's not right. Oh, hang on a minute, that's not... Yes, I've just realised that. Oh.
Yeah, I can see the collection. I can see the collection where you get the 3 layers all together and then, yeah.
Oh, flipping heck.
Nicola says she's tried to help, but thank you.
What were they called?
I've just written what I see. Say what you see. That's how I say
can't
what you
even
see.
spell. There was more to it than that.
And you got an answer.
I have got an answer, but there
Right,
was more.
now,
It's not very descriptive.
What do you see? You see something slim, you see something curved, and you see an edgeable. Slimline curved edgeables. There you go. Makes
I put
sense?
layerable edgeables, which is not right at all. There's too many abbles in there. Ellipse.
Eclipse edgeables.
Ellipse, that's the one. Oh dear, we're not doing very well today.
4-3. I've got nothing on this round yet.
I don't know what our Nicola's thoughts, saying that this wasn't too bad. It's fine when you've got them sat in front of you, isn't it?
Lean says it's an edge die. I have no clue.
Oh my days, here we go again.
Yes, I know what those are. Let's hope we don't get commented on our spelling. Have you got an answer?
I have. I don't know whether it's the right title. I think I'm on the right collection. But
I've just said embroidery dies.
have you?
Because
I
that's
put
what it is.
embroidery. I can't even speak. Embroidery frame dies.
Ooh. Oh! Do I? Nah. Oh, she's going to give me a
you're
point.
kidding me. That would have brought me level. That's mean.
Oh, my wipe's running out. My wipe's running out. I need... Right, okay. Where are we at? Oh, that's easy. I'm going to get that. I'm going to...
Is it?
Do you want the whole thing? Every word? Okay. You ready? Sarah's signature, sent with love box.
I put sent with love.
Perfect. I think that's a point each. That's definitely
Well, seeing
a
as
point
we
each.
had the thing without the framing, then I can have that one, yeah. I think that's...
She's making me work. There you go. She put sent with love on the screen.
Oh, have we not finished? I
Hardest
thought
one
that
around.
was
It
the
makes
last
my tummy churn do these.
Does
'cause I get
it?
so Go on.
one. Hardest one. Right, the whole title. The whole title. It's a long one.
It is, isn't it? Dear me.
Crikey.
It's
That's
a
the
long
most
one.
I've
It's
ever
an essay.
written. That's the
I'd like
most...
to see this one on the little strap at the bottom. Are you ready?
Yes.
3D embossing folders with nesting dies.
Oh, I put frame 3D embossing folders with nesting dies.
3D folder and
dies. If you have a look on the website, there's a bit more to it than that.
I'm gonna wait.
I think you did. She did,
I won by
yes.
one. Yeah, that's only my second ever win.
Excellent.
Second ever win. Right, so I was Facebook. So our Rachel will, whoops, I forgot I stood that up like that. Our Rachel will go through everybody that's been commenting, and she will select 5 people. And hopefully by the time we come back from the break, she will have found the 5 people. We'll put your names on the screen, and then you can email in and claim your prize. So, first of all, we're going to get to know our Debbie Fisher and let Rachel select our winners. See you in a minute.
When it started about 20 years ago, probably a bit longer because I've always been quite crafty, but I got into scrapbooking. When my youngest daughter was born, I decided to do scrapbooking. I got all this amazing crafty stuff that I put into all these pages. Really, I started getting into card making probably about 15 years ago, and then that was it. I have so many people that inspire me, and I have to say, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a crafter's companion, but Sarah Davies was one of the first people that I got to meet in the craft industry. My mum got me into crafting, so that's my main inspiration. So you can imagine how excited I get when I get to meet Sarah Davies. I mean, when I then got on the design team, when I got to work with Sarah closely, everything from then on was amazing. But my mum is definitely, or was, the most inspirational person in my life through my crafting. Gossip, I can't give you any gossip. I mean, that's between us. Do you know what? We were just literally in the green room. Everyone, it's just been done out, and John's been in there, and it's become this place where everyone just comes in, and it's just this gossip fest. And it's amazing because we're all such good friends, genuinely, and I know you all know that. But we have the most amazing time between us all. Me and Craig bounce off each other because we're very similar in our crafty ways. But also me and Debbie, we're full of giggles, and me and Jan and Corrine and Michelle, everybody that I work with is amazing. On the set and off the set, it's just incredible to work at Crafts Companion. Non-craft facts. Well, I have to say, I'm a bit of a singer and a dancer. I'm not good at either. When I was little, I did win a disco dancing competition for the school, and I come second to a Michael Jackson tribute, which I was quite gutted about because I thought I might have won that. So I used to do a bit of disco dancing, and I love dancing. I used to be part of an adult dance group, and it's something I'd like to take lessons. I have to tell you, every single person works tirelessly behind the scenes, and I can't just give a shout out to one person because for me it has to be John, Tracy and Jake.
Going to give a shout out to our backstage hero, and I'm actually going to say heroes. It has got to be our product coordination team. It's got to be.
Because without those 3 people, when we're on air, we wouldn't be able to function like we do. They make sure we have everything we need, right from the samples to the product to having a drink of water throughout the show. They really look after us.
You see us day in, day out, 7 days a week, live on TV. We're crafting away. We're hopefully inspiring you. Every single card, every single product, every single tool that we touch has come from product coordination. Those guys are the unsung hero. They're there making sure we have the products, we have the inks, we have the tools, we have everything that we need. We have the power to actually work our Gemini ranges. The smooth running of behind the scenes of Crafters TV is all down to our product coordination team.
Right, now, Rachel, who's doing our social, her daughter Lily, has picked her 5 winners today, and from Facebook they are Beth Ross Lucas, Mary Beth Doyle, Suzanne Dawn, Michelle Perkins and Suzette Suze. So I'll read those names again. Beth Ross Lucas, Mary Beth Doyle, Suzanne Dawn, Michelle Perkins and Suzette Suze. Now, you can see it down here. So if you could just email into there, prizes@crafterscompanion.com, then on Monday morning when the office is open, you will get sent your gift voucher. So there you go. Absolutely perfect. And well done to all of you. Ladies, there were ladies this time that won, so there we go. Anyway, Christine Mahoney says, not fair to Jan though, she's only here part-time. Hard to remember every name when you're not around full-time. But well done, Jan, for giving it a good go.
I do try my best.
And I am very far from full-time as well. So
I like to know what's going on.
There we go. Yes, we do. So just remember all of the incentives we've got today. Remember, if you join your Club Inspire today, you're going to get 25% off, and then everybody else is going to get their level plus 5%. There we go. We've put it quickly down here. We've also got 3 for 2 on our single Spectrum Noir pens and re-inkers. You're going to get 10% off a lot of your other Spectrum Noir goodies, and also as a Mother's Day treat, we're also going to give you buy a gift card, minimum of £10, $10, €10, and we will give you a £5 voucher for yourself. And remember, that is a one-time use. That's only a one-time use. All of the others last all weekend. Now, Jan has got one more demo to hopefully see us through to the top of the show. So I hope you've enjoyed our little bit longer, our 2-hour show today, and it's really given Jan time to go into those demos and show you a bit more. So what's you going to show us this time, please, Jan?
Right, we're going to go back to those frame 3D folders there. So just for the benefit of anyone that's joined us during the show, I just want to address what we talked about on the first demo, which was the fact that we're always talking about, if you're going to emboss and die cut, do the die cutting first and then the embossing. Now we've now created an embossing folder that then has a set of dies with it. And my immediate reaction was, oh, it's going to squash the embossing. But Alianne thinks of everything. And when she launched these, she did a demo on how to create a template. All right, now I've done this for each of my 4 designs, and I'm going to keep it with the actual packet. So I'm just going to talk through it rather than demo it. If you want to see it live, if you have a look at the launch day show with these particular dies, which was our Leanne here at Crafters TV, she actually showed you how to do this step by step. But basically all I've done is taken a piece of cardstock, the same size as the folders, which are 6 by 4 inches. And I've literally passed this through with the correct plates, bearing in mind it's a 3D folder. All right, so pass it through the machine and emboss it, and you will get a whole piece, including the middle, that has that lovely embossed design on. And then take the largest one of the 4 nesting dies and pop it into the centre of the design, so you'll be able to line it up because you've got that square in the centre of the design there. Pop it in the centre, pop it through with your cutting sandwich and pass it through the machine again. And yes, it will flatten this embossing slightly, but we're just going to keep this one as a template. And then once you've got that one there, I keep all these together now in my packaging so that I've got it. You only need to do it that once, okay? And I'm going to, if you watch the first demo, you'll see how I then use this to line up the card. Now on this occasion, I don't want to cut the centre out of the middle, so I don't actually need to use the template. But if you did, all you're going to do is line up your 2 pieces of card. When Leanne demoed, she showed you drawing round the aperture here with a pen or a pencil. And then what she did was line this up over the penciled area. Now I found that a little bit harder because the cutting edge of the die is centered in the metal. So even though we're only talking a millimetre or so, there was a tiny margin for error on my part. So what I did was line these up where I wanted them. I popped the die back in and you'll feel it sort of nest into place there, and I drew round the inside of the die. That way when I took it away, I'd got a square visible that I could then wrap my nesting die back around, and I personally was able to get it more accurate with use with the embossing folder. Hope that makes sense. Okay, as I say, if you want to see that demo being done step by step, Leanne did a great job on that launch day, and she made templates with hers as well. Now on this particular demo, I didn't want the aperture in the centre. I'm happy to have the blue cardstock. Now then, where's the blue cardstock from? Let me think, Jan. This is from our Pastels paper pad that has the combination of, it's a 12 by 12 paper pad that has a combination of linen and then pearlescent card. There are 4 colours in it. I think there's pink, lemon, lilac, and then the aqua colour. It's almost like a duck egg blue. So this is out of there, and I've just cut it down to 6 by 4 to fit nicely inside my folder. Now, like I was saying at the top of the show, just be aware when you have a 3D embossing folder that you need to omit one of your clear plates. Because the folder's thicker, the sandwich needs to be thinner. So I tend to put my magnetic shim on the base, add my folder in, and then you're going to use your plastic shim as the top layer. And then just pass that through your chosen machine. Now these will fit through the Gemini MIDI. They're only 6 by 4 inches, so they will fit through the MIDI as well as the original Gemini and the Junior. And if you're using the MIDI, you obviously only need to put the folder through your machine. You don't need anything else with it. But when we open this up now, especially on the pearlescent card, you've got that beautiful sculpted embossing there. And if I just flip it over, I sometimes think you can see the depth of it better when you look at that debossed area. It's beautiful. And then it's also embossed that frame here for me to work with, and we're actually going to build up on this layer this time. So again, what I did at home was exactly the same, but I've just added my pearls again, and I've just cut it down a fraction. It's the same width, but I just wanted a little tiny bit. But took about quarter of an inch off the top and bottom just for the size of the project that I was making, and then I've just added the little pearls. I just like those little accents on it. So that was where I'd got to with that. And then we're literally going to pop it onto a stepper card this time. So this is just a side stepper, okay, that I've created out of a piece of craft card. And then I've created a matte layer to pop this one on. Now you can see I'm always talking about my gold satin cardstock. I absolutely cherish it. So yes, there is a piece missing out of the middle that's been used for something else, but this is just going to matte and layer on the top, and you'd be no sort of wiser that that bit was missing underneath. Now I'm going to pop the double-sided tape on this one because I'm going on to Miri card. If you were watching the demo earlier, I said that I normally use the wet glue on the back of the embossing folder, but because this is going on to Miri card, I don't tend to use my all-purpose glue as much for fear of damaging that shiny surface. So a little bit of double-sided tape just works as nicely to get that one stuck down. So that's going to be my feature panel, and we're going sort of slightly on the wonk, I think, this morning. And then I've used some of the scraps that were left over just to make, and I've alternated this. I sort of played around with it. I'm like, do I want them all in a line? But I actually quite like them alternate like that. So let's get those stuck on. Now again, because we're going onto the craft card, I can actually pop these down with a little bit of wet glue now. And that wet glue soaks into the fibres of the craft card nicely. So just a little one at the front here.
Craft card's quite fibrous, isn't it?
Yeah, it absorbs quite a bit of moisture as well, you know, if you're working with inks and things like that on it. So again, just a little bit of that. And then this one's going to go in that stepper area here. Whoops. So just to, and I like the wet glue because you can slide everything into position that you want.
Yeah, it means if you drop it, it's not.
You just get the glue can be a bit grabby, the tape pens. I love it, don't get me wrong, but sometimes if you want to position things, you've just got that little bit of movement. And then I thought this is not me. I do tend to like things straight.
Oh, do you?
But I just thought it actually looked quite nice. Twisted on that one. So I'm going to go from here, just going to use that as a marker. Pop a little bit on the back there, and then again, you know, we can pop this down and then just position it slightly on the wonk there, just intended. And then you get your little set of nesting dies again. So the largest one echoes the frame in the embossing folder. So that one would actually cut the same size as the aperture. So I've actually omitted this one because I wanted to see some of the blue. And then I've taken the next two down And I've done my blue layer. That's the second largest one. And then I've done the gold again with the third largest one there. So this is going to go inside now. Because I've come down one, we're still going to be able to see a little bit of that pearlescent cardstock round the edge to frame it. So this one's going to go inside here. So they are actually behaving as a set of little nesting dies. And then I've cut the smallest one out of a little bit of white, just edged it there with a bit of blue ink or turquoise ink. I think it was the Lagoon ink. Oops, and then that one's going to go here in the centre, like so.
Just pops, putting the white on.
Yep, just that little bit. And then that's going to link, because my sentiment, thank you for being a true friend. And I think this is from the Say It With Flowers sentiment set, if I remember rightly. I may be wrong. I have all sorts of sentiments lying around when I'm prepping. And as I say, there are some that never go away because they're like go-to sets. So this one's going to go across here like so, and just link the two pieces together. And then it looked a bit bare. It needed something in the middle there. So again, this is from the embellishment die set in the Delightful Daisies. So I had those two kits out. I had the Delightful Daisies and the Say It With Flowers out, and those were the bits that were on my desk, and that's usually what I end up working with. So again, I'm just going to pop a little bit. I've cut it in the gold and cut it in the turquoise as well, so that there's a little bit of colour there. And that one's just going to go in the centre to finish off that gap in the middle there. Hold
You
that
don't
for a
need too
second.
much, do you? Because you've got all that beautiful design in that emboss.
They're absolutely gorgeous, they really are. So again, we'll just move all the other bits out of the way, and you can see there that embossing just sort of acts. So the first one that we did this morning, we cut the aperture into the design and we worked behind it with the sentiment. This time we've used that space in the design to build the nesting dies on. That's just two of the ways. There are lots of different ways of using these.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I love that. That sort of, that bluey grey almost looks like you've done it on vellum.
Yes.
From a distance, it looks almost like it's got a vellum colour. Oh, yeah. And Lindsay says, I do like the blue colour instead of being too girly. Still feminine if you wanted it to be.
Did you notice there was no pink in there this morning?
And is that unusual for you?
Very unusual.
Or is it?
We'll wait while the craft along.
Okay.
We'll bring
okay.
the pink in. Honestly,
right.
Pink, I've got tons of things in pink compared to the other colours, but the teal is probably the second on the list. So yeah, if it's not pink, it's often teal.
Oh, that's all right then. Right, so Beth Ross Lucas has said, oh, thank you. She won on the game. Lean says, lovely to get back to a longer show, thanks CCTV. Well, you said, and we've listened. Mary Beth Dawes says, thank you so much, Crafters TV. The voucher is much appreciated. Well, I hope you enjoy it when it comes through. We've got Maureen Riggs now, first timer here. Today's the first time I've watched at the weekend, so I think she's watched during the week, and have really enjoyed it and learned so much. Thank you both. Well, it's great to have you along, Maureen.
Are you ready, guys? Just have a quick flick to the overhead, Liam, for
Go
me.
on, have you found it?
Are you ready? Oh, I don't want to be able to see it. It's behind the L. Hang on. He's on it. He's on it.
Just a minute.
Bless him. He's going to take it away, I think. Are you?
Jan has been plagued by a missing die.
Are you ready? You can see it there. That's fine, Liam. Are you ready? Ta-da!
You knew it was there, didn't you? You knew it had to be.
Away. Oh, it bugs me when. So I don't know what you guys are like, but it really bugs me when things like that happen. Yeah. I knew it couldn't have gone anywhere far. No. Sorry.
It's absolutely fine.
I don't like to interrupt.
No, that's fine. We've got all the comments read. So absolutely. So you have seen how brilliantly those can be used, and all the different ways that you can use them. Now we've got a few more bits and pieces to show you, I believe. So let's have a look at what else we can show you. Now this one is our 6-piece blending collection. You're going to get a roller tool, so like your brayer. You're going to get your blending tools. You're going to get your refills. Now this one, as you can see, is the rectangular one. You're going to get your craft mat, and you're going to get more. So you can see you've got your little blending eggs. You've got your little palette, you've got all of those. Now that should be $34.95. 4. But today's price is £26 or $41. But our Nicola has done her magic so that our platinum price is showing with a 25% discount. So that's showing you today £19.50 or $30.75. You have saved nearly £15 if this is your first order or you're a platinum member. So it's definitely worth signing up to Club Inspire. Now that was your blending tool collection. We've also got a mixed media showstopper collection. Now you've got 10 pieces in here. Well, you've got more. You've got 10 individual, 10 elements, and then you've got multiple items within there. So you've got your acrylic pens, you've got your aqua tri-blend, you've got your blending tool, you've got your blended eggs, you've got your spritzers, you've got your, is that black card or white card? White card. Oh, it's a watercolour card. Think about it, Corrine. You've got your silver gilding wax. You've got some pearlescent watercolour ink from Cosmic Shimmer, an intense pigment stain from Cosmic Shimmer, and a re-inker as well. So all of that today is £40 or $60. Now look at that. If you are a platinum member, that's going to drop down to £30 or $45. That is less than half price if you are a platinum member. So it's definitely worth to get in today whilst those fantastic offers are on. Now we've also got a mixed media explorer kit. So this has got a cut and emboss die, it's got an embossing folder, it's got another cut and emboss die, it's got some Centura pearl, it's got a creator card in there, and then it's got a lovely embossing folder in there as well. Now all of that should be £65.94 or $79.78, and today it's going to be £30 or $35. But look at how much that platinum price drops down. You lose another quarter off there, dropping it down to £22.50 or $26.25. Bargain. If you've not got any of those elements, that is the best way to get that. Again, that is an amazing, amazing price. Now, we have started the show with the 3D embossing folders and nesting dies. You see, look at that, 3D embossing folders and nesting dies. 4-piece collection with 16 dies in total. That was the true title of it, wasn't it, Jan? So rather than just embossing folders with dies. I know I won, but I'm just saying. But we've got a little bit of time left. This is the joy of having that longer show. So we've got to do demo of the show, and Jan's going to show you what you need. Oh, should we do that first?
Shall we do that now? Because the last one's just a technique with one of the products, a little taster of what's coming up later in the later show. Yes, so if we do that now. There are 3
projects?
finished demos. Yeah.
Okay.
So we started the show with those gorgeous folders, and we used a little bit of our ink with it there. You can just see that beautiful 3D embossing on there. And then we used a diorama card so that we could set the nesting dies back. So that was number 1, okay? Number 2 was that alcohol re-inker on the Yupo paper that we actually die cut today. And I'd popped those together, just stuck them. Just a little tip on that actually, I stuck them with a little bit of red line tape because this is a plastic. I didn't know how well the wet glue would behave, so I've got a little bit of red line tape between the flowers there. But yeah, just to show that that die cuts nicely. That's number 2. And number 3, we went back to those 3D folders, and this time instead of cutting the aperture, we actually built up on top of it there. But again, that embossing just speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Absolutely beautiful.
So that was number 3.
Okay then, absolutely gorgeous. Now our Liam, he's picked his, Nicola's picked hers. I think I know where I would go. And so we shall wait and see. Should I say, that was so funny, Nana Jan, when you lost the die.
Honestly, if you'd have seen me, I've had the mat up below here, I've been in the bin, and I'm like, where's it? Logic tells me it can't just have evaporated. Yeah, then I thought, oh, I know. Just moved it sideways, and there it was.
Beth Ross Lucas says, drives me nuts when I can't find a die or stamp after just using it. Rose Smith says, hi, does the 3 for 2 on Spectrum Noir pens include tri-bends? If there's, we don't think so. We're going to have a quick look and then we'll come back. It's individual, so does it include the tri-blends on the individuals? Because you can buy them individually. We're going to have a quick look and we'll let you know. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Go to the website and have a look and it'll show you all of them. Click on the banner on the front page on the 3 for 2s and then it'll load just the ones that are on the 3 for 2s. So have a look at that, Rose. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. Okay, Jan, so you're going to show us some techniques.
I'm just going to do a quick technique, as I say, as a little taster for what's coming up at 6 p.m. here in the UK, because we've got those colouring mediums again that we're going to sort of use and bring them into play with paper crafting. So as I say, we've called it Colour Me Happy, the show later, and we've put a mixed media tag on it purely because it's using some of the products that I've brought to you over the last sort of month or so. And I know some of you have bought into these products. So again, it's nice to see different techniques. And rather than devote a show to one product, we always bring lots of different products. So therefore doing multiple shows allows me to do extra demos with them. So these are actually Cosmic Shimmer brand, all right, which are part of the Creative Expressions team. And these are a watercolour pearlescent ink. They're absolutely beautiful. So they're really well pigmented. If I turn them on the side, you can see the colours there in those bottles. All right, we've got 20ml bottles, which is going to go a long, long way. They might only look small, but it will go a long way. Now, if I tip this, you can see the bottom. If I tip both of them, you can see that sort of mica in the bottom there. So immediately, when anything's got either mica or glitter in, it needs a really vigorous shake. And if I just get this moving, oh, it's not moving yet. Sometimes it's got a little mixing bowl. You can just hear it there, yeah? Little mixing bowl inside, which helps to agitate that mica that's in the bottom. So the first thing is getting that moving. And if for any reason they've been stood a while and that mica's settled, you can just take the top off, and I just use a little cocktail stick just to agitate what's settled on the bottom. But I can probably get it moving enough to do what I want to do with it. So if you don't shake it, you're going to get the watercolour ink, which is quite translucent. If you mix that mica in, that one's going now. And what the little mixing bowl does, it just messes with the mica at the bottom and sort of stirs it up. There we go. You can hear it in there now. All right. And then these are brilliantly designed because there's a little push. If I just bring this here, if I put it over my hand here, you can see here there's a little bit that depresses in the lid here, yeah? Now these have got a built-in dropper, so you don't need to worry about using a separate pipette. And by pressing the top, it sort of sucks the ink up into the dropper.
It's basically
if you depress it again, you can see that it starts to drop that ink back out again. He's good, look. Against me,
you see that, yeah.
You'll see it on the paper in a minute. So make sure that you've got it closed, give it a squeeze, and it'll suck that ink up ready. Now I've just got a little bit of watercolour paper. That's always my go-to if I'm doing anything that's got water in the title, water inks, whether it's this kind of liquid ink, anything like that, aqua tints, I tend to go for the watercolour paper. It's designed to take the moisture. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my spritzer, which has just got ordinary plain tap water, nothing fancy in there. And I'm literally just going to spritz a little bit onto there. And then, whoa, ooh, now you can see the pearlescent in it, look, can't you? But I'm just going to drop, and this again, the water acts as a carrier. So you can see where I've hit the water and where I haven't. I will soak this up. I'll get my little pipette out and soak that up in a second.
You can get that back in the jar, can't you?
I can suck it up with a little pipette, yeah, rather than waste it. But again, once we add the water to it,
oh wow,
you can see that gorgeous starburst, and it makes the most interesting designs and backgrounds. Now, you know I'm always talking about making backgrounds, and this is something that I might spend a whole afternoon doing. And then once you bring the heat tool out, it sort of, because there's mica in there, it sort of almost like pushes it around. So again, a little bit like we were talking about that gold veining in that sample that you showed us with the alcohol inks, Corrine. This sort of almost pushes the mica to the edges of where the colour is. So you can get some really, really nice effects. So just dry it off. If it's too wet, you can always blot it a little bit. but I like to just work and just pushing it backwards and forwards. You'll get those watermarks on the card. I've got a nice bit that I can see where the mica's settling in here, and I'll show you close up. I'll get our Liam to come and zoom in a second, and you'll see what I mean about the mica. It just, I don't know how it works. It's alchemy at its best, but it's just fascinating to have a play with. So anything that's got the mica in it like this, you'll get this kind of effect with. Now I've got enough bits to show you. I'm just going to dab off the rest of the bits that are wet. Okay, because I've got some areas that I can show you what I mean there. Right, so if we get our Liam, I'm just going to put the lid on that one, and I will literally, I'm going to use, where did I put it there? I'm going to use my little pipette to suck this up and pop it back in the pot. But here, you can see where, let me just get it.
Oh, yes.
Can you see where it pushes here? I've got a nice arc here where I've got the colour and then the mica. It sort of pushes it about, so it's like it's veining all the way around the outside of those watermarks. This one particularly has got quite a heavy, I'm just going to try and see where we can get it. There you go, look. Yeah?
Yeah.
Some of it is still a little bit wet, but you can see it up here, and then we'll see if we can get this one here on that arc, look. Can you see that mica? Yeah? And that's literally just by saturating it and pushing it around. So again, you know, this was a very, very quick demo. I'm going to do something similar to this in one of the demos later on. But because it's got that mica in it, allows you to sort of, that looks like, I'm just looking at that there, and I can see, it's like answers on a postcard. You know the Japanese art that's normally done in blue, is it the willow pattern?
Yeah.
It looks like one of those trees, you know, the bonsai trees.
Yeah.
With somebody stood here underneath.
Oh, cherry
Liam
blossom.
can see a cherry blossom, yeah. What can you see in the picture? It's like looking at the bottom of your coffee cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
What can you see? Spend
Really?
hours. But yeah, just to give you an idea of how that particular product behaves. Okay?
There we go.
I'm now going to spend a minute or two sucking up all my ink because I don't want to waste it.
Okay. Charlotte on YouTube says, I love Jan, no panic at all. Now you can see the mica. Look, awesome, Jan, legend. And Pammy says, next blooper film in the making.
Oh, definitely.
There
yeah.
we go. And
this
Suzanne,
was a little bit like the, what was it? The sparkle ink incident where I said it had literally, that one fell towards me and it went all down the front of me. This one I can rescue because I can literally suck some of this up into my pipette now, and I'm literally going to pop it back in the bottle.
Perfect. Suzanne Dawn says, oh, looking forward to this show tonight. Well, that's 6 p.m. That's our Colour Me Happy, and I've seen Jan's demos, and they're very different, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Jerry Johnson says, hello all. I've been lurking, wanted to say that I love Jan's demos. Looking forward to all of today's shows. Well, we love having you with us, Jerry. There we go. So I think we're up. Oh, that reminds me of a bonsai tree, says Anne. Yep, it reminds so much of us. Now, I know Jan's busy, but I'm just going to say, demo of the show goes to number 1. I'm not going to mess around just because Jan is. Yep. That's what I thought. Absolutely perfect. We'll put that on the shelf.
Beautiful.
And that will go towards the final circle. I just got distracted because Nina says, I see a dog doing a yoga pose on a cloud. I
love it.
And it just distracted me completely.
I'm going to put it there again. I want some more answers. This is what we're talking about. It's like, what can you see in my inky background, apart from all the mess on the mat? I'll cover that bit up. What can you see there? This looks like somebody knelt down saying their prayers under the tree, I think.
Yeah, very good.
Maybe wishing for some nicer weather.
While you're sucking up your ink,
oh dear.
Michelle Parsons says, if we have mica powder, because I know I've got some little bots of mica powder, can we add it to the re-inker ink when using on Yupo paper? So if you dropped your ink onto your Yupo, what would happen if you sprinkled mica powder into it?
I don't know.
They're going to say they're asking some challenging questions today.
I don't know the answer to that one. These are all, I love all these ideas because these are things I can go home and have a play with, but I don't know the answer to that one. I've never tried that. I do have some Cosmic Shimmer mica at home.
But you don't have much Yupo paper?
No, I've not got a lot of Yupo paper left. It's
maybe
sort of
Jake's
sparing.
got a sheet or two.
I might have to try that and see how
we'll let you
behaves.
know. We'll get back to you,
again,
Michelle.
Don't be afraid. Don't drop it. I wouldn't drop it into your bottle. So that would be a no-no, just in case it didn't play nicely. So just pop a little bit, not this much obviously, a little bit out onto your mat, and then add a bit of mica and see how that behaves on some paper. I wouldn't add the mica to your actual re-inker, because if it doesn't work, you've wasted a whole bottle of ink. Yeah. But yeah,
Exactly.
have a go, have a play by all means. Let me know. Let me know what works.
Rocking horse in a thunderstorm, says Rachel.
Excellent.
Elaine says, I see Ma and Baby Dinosaur. There you go.
Yep.
So yeah, lots of people seeing different things. Now, if you want to have a go and make your own backgrounds, these, what we're going to show you, are all on 3-for-2s. So you can get your watercolour inks. Now, we've got Holly Green. And they're all the same price, so they are all £4.25 or £7.99, which goes down to £3.19 or $5.99. But again, you're going to get them as 3-for-2. You saw the yellow. We've now got the blue, Corellian blue. We've got the Radiant Orchid. Where are we going next? We've got the Lemon Glacier, Fiery Sunset. Oh, I like that one. Fiery Sunset, that's nice. Nearly Navy and Passionately Pink. Now, all of these are the same price, remember. Spruce Green and Purple Twilight. How many of those were there, Nicola? We're just going to count them up. 10. So it won't quite work for your 3-for-2, but if you pick 9 of them, you get them for, and you're platinum member, you'd get them for the price of 6. So it'd be about £19.
If anybody wants a close-up of the Radiant Orchid.
Such a pretty colour as well.
It's a really nice colour.
There's
and you
Radiant
can see
Orchid.
if I move this about, I've just been playing with it now because I can see all the mica swirling inside it. But yeah, I've got about half of it up so far. Wish me luck.
Oh, well done. Should keep going, keep going. Now, we've also got, and these are on the 3-for-2s as well, are your intense pigment stains. Now, I know Jan's going to be using these later because that's what got her hands so mucky. These are this is Regal Purple, and you're going to get 19 mils of this. You're going to get Storm Grey. You're going to get Blue Violet, Bluebell, Citrus Lime, Forest Green, and that's all of that. So each one of those, $2.99 or $4.49, which obviously drops down to £2.24 or $3.37. Your 3-for-2 will mix and match. So if you want to get a couple of cosmic shimmers and a few of your watercolours or a few of your re-inkers, then you can mix and match them as much as you like. And obviously it'll be your cheapest items are free. Now, the other thing we've got is our airless mister in Pacific Point. Oh, with a Pacific Point. So
Yes, I'm going to use that one later, the
and then you've got your airless mister in Flirty Pink and Poppy Parade. Oh, that's quite handy, being 3 of those for 3-for-2. Now, individually, those are all £5.50 or $8.25, which is going to drop down to £4.13 or $6.19. So yeah, we're going to see some of those later, but they're your sort of misters in those lovely colours. And the other one we're going to have a look at is your mixed media embossing powder in Dark Age. Is this the really chunky ones that we were talking about earlier? So these are a really chunky embossing powder. And you've also got this Jurassic, and I've seen this one on a project of Jan's, and it looks amazing. Can you see all those different colours swirling through there? Now, those are £3.99 or $6.99. And they are going to drop down to $2.99 if you're a platinum member, or $5.24. And again, on your 3-for-2. Now, if you have got all of your mixed media bits, then you're going to want things to use them with. And we've put together a little bundle for you. This is your Nature's Garden stencil and embossing 3-piece selection. Look at that. You've got one from Garden Party, one from the Wisteria, and one from the Say It With Flowers. I love that embossing folder from the Say It With Flowers. I like the one from the Wisteria as well. And you've got the stencils that you can lie over on that Wisteria to really mix and match it around, so it helps with your colouring. So yeah, if you are into it, and look at that, all 3 elements in there, 11 stencils in total. It's going to be $9.99 or $12.95. That is an amazing price. Should be nearly £25. So you've got a massive, massive saving. And we're going to drop that down as a platinum member to £7.49 or $9.71. You're not even paying for one on there. So, you know, that is an amazing deal. Now, the other thing you might have seen Jan use a little bit today is the heat tool, which is, it's our Crafter's Companion one. So if you want everything branded with that purple colouring, we were talking about heat tools before we started the show, and obviously you probably used to see Jan use a different one. And when hers died, she got this because she said this has proved to her to be as good as any of the others she has used. Now, you're not just getting the heat tool in this bundle, you're also getting your stamping foam. Go back and have a look at some of our shows with that. Absolutely amazing. Warm it up using your heat tool and then embed all sorts, feathers, lace, paper clips, nails into it, and then you make your own stamps. So that is a brilliant way to use that. I love that. So if you want to see how a lot of those elements work, then tune in at 6 p.m. tonight. But before then, and I think Jan's just about got all the mess up, have you, Jan?
I'm nearly sorted, yeah. The majority of it is back in my bottle. It's back up to here in the bottle. Oh,
that's good.
Yep,
that's
so
good.
I haven't wasted it.
So just a quick reminder, just in case anybody hasn't seen it, the project for the craft along, please.
Yep, so craft along this
your hands
afternoon.
Clean enough? You're not going to ruin it?
Absolutely gorgeous. So that's based on those frames. We're going to use the rectangular frame here. And I've made like a book card. So it's about 3/4 of an inch deep. And then when we open it, we're going to make the frame to go inside it. I've got a Centura Pearl embossed area in the back. Now I've put with love on Mother's Day, but this is only a die cut, so you can add in there any sentiment that you wish. Change the colours again, you can make it masculine, you can sort of, you know, do it for a person that you have in mind. But that's what we're going to be doing at 2 o'clock. We're going to pop that together, a little bit of ink, a little bit of gilding wax on there. So yes, I hope you can join us.
That'd be lovely. Yeah, you say make it masculine. I'm thinking if you started going in your navies and your golds, it would soon look quite masculine, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. Well, if you like that, then please join us at 2 o'clock. That's only an hour away. We've got somebody joining us to do the craft along. So hopefully that, well, all the links will work really well and she will be able to join us for the whole 2 hours. And we can see her take on that too. So that would be brilliant. Jen and I are going to go and quickly get some lunch because, like I say, we'll be back here in an hour for a 2-hour craft along, making that lovely project. And I hope you can join us then and we'll show you all about these gorgeous 3D embossing folders and nesting dies. So until then, we'll see you in an hour. Ta-ra!